I'm gonna start this one like Abba and Preach. Today's topic is gang violence in the U.S. It's a lot of stuff always happening in different communities. Obviously, things we see more of that are obviously more media based or in the African American community. Obviously, that spills over into many other communities. Um, as years go on, um, hopefully we could take some sort of stance in it. So a lot of people my age, and honestly younger, maybe almost 20 years younger than me. And it's a cycle that's been going on for a long time. Obviously, America as a whole has more people locked up per capita than any other country in the world. We also have the largest African American population. Obviously, the only African American populations because we're the only African Americans. But locked up. They're the most, people of African descent that are locked up here. And I want to say that's peer persecution or something like that, right? That's what I'm supposed to say. But um, the truth is, it's the Wild West. The truth is, um, I can't even keep. You want to blame systemic reasons. Um, us having less this, less that. Everybody. It's so much to it. It's so much to it. It's the perfect conversation. If you guys want to have that conversation with me in the comments, we can. We could do a live stream and talk about it. Um, I for one feel like the only way to really change it would be for um, equal footing, right? But what does equal footing mean? Equal footing doesn't just mean respirations or like giving some people some money and that's just gonna change it. You got to change it in your head, right, and in your heart. And I think we had it together in the 1950s and 60s, right? I mean, I think it was a race of people who went from being slaves. 100 years before the 60s. My mom grew up in my mom was born in the 60s. So when my grandma grew up, you know what I mean? When she had my mom, 100 years right before that, there were slaves. People who knew nothing for hundreds of years. I mean, they had a language hundreds of years before that. They lost their language, they lost their culture, they lost everything. They didn't have shit. They got freed in 1865 or whatever. They didn't have shit. They couldn't really speak well. You know what I mean? People didn't treat them well. You know, 60 years later, they're still getting treated like shit. They didn't have shoes, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of normal necessities. You weren't allowed to get an education still. You know, all the way up into the 1960s, you know what I mean? And 1950s, 1960s when they started integrating schools and all that type of stuff and started to allow us to get educations. I think at that time, I think people were acting really well. I mean, I think for a culture, like we were acting really well. We were starting to really progress. And then I think what happened was when people started letting us in, once we start getting into those other communities, I think that people were obviously getting beat, the KKK stuff, a bunch of other things, and it went from us being this docile, passive race to us starting to get angry. Later, as positive people pushed, like Martin Luther King, we also had people on the other side of our same spectrum, same side, the other side of the same coin, like Malcolm X, who were like, let's not play these games with these people anymore. If we need to fight them, we need to fight them. And I think sadly, more, not even more than not, because I wouldn't say it's most of the population. I would just say we went from 4 million to like 40 million in 100 years, 150 years, and I would say in that time, um, a lot of people are still poor. So a poor mindset and getting treated badly, it taints the waters. Like it taints us, and I think we just have to just get back somewhere else where maybe it's no one else. That sounds crazy, but when it's no one else around, I think that could actually change things. But anyways, I'm gonna clip this to the end. But let's get into the article, man. Let's get into this. This gang violence is not right.
one-count indictment of 33 alleged gang members. Officials say all 33 defendants are charged with conspiracy to commit murder and that 18 of those were active trigger pullers. They say the defendants are members of warring gangs trying to establish territorial dominance in southeast Queens. The gun violence escalated after the high-profile murder of an aspiring high school basketball star 4 years ago.
While the gang war was set off by a slashing in April of 2019, the tensions and the violence between the warring factions escalated after the murder of 14-year-old Amir Griffin in October of 2019.
Throughout this investigation, it was determined that members of these gangs intended to commit murder and shoot opposing gang members based solely on their alliances and territorial disputes.
30 guns, you see them there. They were seized in this gang takedown. But before today's sweeping indictment was announced against members of two violent street gangs, our own Lisa Evers was embedded with the operation as NYPD detectives rounded up the suspects. And she is here now to bring us this Fox 5 exclusive. Lisa, take it away.
Well, Chris, this long-term investigation began with the murder of a promising teen basketball player. Now, nearly 4 years later, NYPD detectives tell us they have dismantled two rival gangs who terrorized South Jamaica residents with reckless gunfire, using drill music videos and social media to fuel their beefs. We got an exclusive look at their focused methods, which are very different from the wide net gang sweeps of the past.
Isn't that like such a crazy thing that like is that like this is like that's like the way to like get at people is by like art, honestly, like making amazing music. Like these dudes are probably making some of the dopest, you know what I mean, dopest drill music. Like obviously the drill scene is a big scene in the UK, it's big here. A lot of people in Queens, Jamaica, Queens, just Queens in general, are children of immigrants. You know what I mean? I mean, we're all immigrants in a way. You know, some slaves, some still trying to escape some China persecution, trying to have a better life, no matter if they're coming from the islands, Jamaica or Hades or wherever. But I mean, like, you know, these dudes or Africa. I mean, these dudes are, you know, probably making dope music and probably could have had amazing lives. You know what I mean? Could have been the next Pop Smoke in here, and I don't mean that in the aftermath way, but I just mean in that like amazing music. And this is what happens. Like it had to be a gang war for it. You know what I mean? Like it just really, it sucks, man.
Some of the more than 30 suspects were already behind bars in state prison and on Rikers Island for other crimes. They were brought into the 111th precinct to be charged in this major gang conspiracy case. So serious were the safety concerns about the explosive rivalry between the crews known as Moneyworld and their opposition or ops, the local Trapstars, that police...
And they already got rap names. Look, Coco B, Ace, Eli, JJ, S Dotty, Bookie, F Dotty, Ant Live, Maylee, Steven, Gills. They actually, like, you know what I mean? Dude straight had like sound like a rap crew, man. It sucks that they gotta go down in ways like that, and that's the route they took.
Booked them at separate precincts to keep their family members and associates separated when they showed up.
It's pretty much shoot on sight when they see the opposition.
Wait, bro, you know he be in the street like it's shoot on sight when they see the ops, man. Opposition, bro, watch out.
A lot of times innocent people are caught in the middle of it.
Over the last 5 or 6 years, these two gangs terrorized an entire community.
Before sunrise, more than 150 NYPD detectives and supervisors assembled for the takedown of the alleged gang members. Most are between the ages of 18 to 22 and have been arrested before.
This started in the Baisley houses,
when Amir Griffin got shot and killed.
In October 2019, 14-year-old Amir Griffin, a Cardozo High School student athlete, was the unintended target of a shooting. He was killed on the basketball courts near his home.
John, anything? And that's the sad thing of it. Again, promising, young promising athlete, 14, didn't have anything to do with anything, just minding his business, hooping. You know what I mean? Trying to get out of there. It's just, yeah, man. It's a lot with this crap.
18-year-old Sean Brown was arrested for the murder and is part of this case.
That could have been me. It could be my cousins, my nephews. I mean, it's just sad that that had to happen, but today we have justice for the family.
As detectives investigated, they found a connection to other shootings that were happening in South Jamaica. Some were in broad daylight, one even outside a high school. Police say an escalating rivalry between the Moneyworld and local Trapstar Gangs was responsible.
Yeah, man, it's a sad thing, man. Moneyworld versus Trapstar, man. It sounds like some music stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's our music that does it, but I don't think it honestly helps, because in these young kids' heads, they don't see another way. It's a lot, man. We need to have a conversation about it. It's all, I mean, you know, more needs to be done, but let's have a conversation. I think I have an excellent movie idea that I think would like kind of shock culture, everybody's in general. It's edgy and it's crazy, but I think it's like it's so good, and it needs to be. It's a story that needs to be told. Anyways, let's talk in the comments. Moneyworld versus Trapstars. That's crazy, bro. Anyways, it's a disgusting thing that it's, you know, it's plaguing the U.S. and it's sad, man. It's sad. You know what I mean? It's sad that it's sad that they got access to these guns. It's sad that they've been so downtrodden that they don't see another way. It's sad that their children dying. It's sad that it's other people dying that have anything to do with it. It's sad that it's all sad.